No, that is super profound, and I love how the story for that kid ended. I was like, man, like I said, whatever you do, do not make me cry. I don't want to get you emotional. Uh, so no, that was really powerful, man. For me, yeah, man, this thing was one. It was a pure form of the metaphor of life, and basically there'll be ups and downs, but you have control. You have a sense of power. There's something you can do about it. You do not have to be at an effect of life, and to your point, also knowing that the biggest strength is going to come from inside. I love this quote. I don't know the exact scripture, but where Jesus talks about the kingdom of heaven is within. Yeah. Until you go inside and work inside, that you find heaven. You find God inside. You don't have to find God in distractions and trying to find fulfillment outside of you, because you're already fulfilled. Yeah. The other thing too, man, that hit me, one is I had a euphoric moment. I was just driving, and I just realized someday my life here on earth is going to end. And growing up, I used to be terrified of death. It was something that used to terrify me. I've gotten over the fear, but it was such a beautiful realization that my time here is limited, right? And I can make the most of it, because every little moment is going to be a gift. Everything, you start to see everything as an opportunity. You get into, like you say, you talk to someone and they may respond a certain way, as opposed to whatever you feel. And that's the thing, as because you do meditation, you do visualization, it's how you feel inside. And then you see, oh, there's an opportunity for me. I still have work to do. Or just a realization. Funny story. One time I got picked up by this guy, an Uber guy at the airport. And I said, hey, hello, sir. How you doing? I always like to, to the Uber drivers, because I love hearing people's stories. And it's just, I'm not sure if it's 75, but I just have such a love for people now, and I just love to hear the story, And this guy ignored me completely. He ignored me. He just went up to the car. I went, man, this dude, man, is he racist? And normally, racism, not, I know it exists, but it's the last thing I look for. Or I notice, just simply because if somebody is sad or somebody's mistreating me or mistreating other people, you're a sad person. Nobody who is happy and content with themselves would want to hurt other people. But this gentleman just did this to me, showed me he was deaf.
Wow.
And bro, I felt that small. Oh my God, man. I think I tipped him like $30. It was, oh my God. It was so humbling, man. And I'm fuming. I just came from the airport. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to highlight to your earlier point, but realizing we're going to die sometime, and realizing that life is a gift, man. Life is a gift. And each moment, each conversation, each hug, each challenge is all the totality of this experience. And you can't deny one over the other. You can't choose joy, over sadness. You might find yourself overindulging in substances or alcohol. The other powerful thing was visualization. Visualization, it's something actually I've kind of forgotten doing, but as I'm getting back to practicing mindfulness, I've realized I need to bring it back in, because I would always visualize my future, and I kept going to this beautiful house. I kept visualizing myself coming from work, and it's like I'd go down the stairs and there's this house, and in front of the house is like a lake, and I have my kids coming and hugging me, and it was just such a powerful experience that thing kept coming up, and every time without fail tears would roll down, and it wasn't because of tears of sadness, but as you get to learn, as you get to grow, you find out that whatever emotion or whatever your mind sees or feels is real, it doesn't matter. So that's when you start to realize, man, I cannot be making self-deprecating jokes about me, was saying stuff weird, stuff that does not build me.
Yeah.
But it was just fascinating, and it was always 10 minutes of tears would just start flowing, and I'm like, I'm aware tears are coming down. I'm trying to understand what is going on, but I just couldn't. So that was an extremely powerful thing. And then also just the realization of, man, I'm capable of so much more, like I've been hiding, I've been cheating myself, and I didn't know I could do all these things. I didn't know I could be consistent for this long, and the other thing too, realizing that procrastination had disappeared, because when I procrastinate on my spiritual practice, my fitness. Of course, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. And realizing that, okay, after the 75, I'm very consistent in everything I'm doing. I may fall off a day, I may fall off 2 days, but I'm consistent. I'm coming back to that moment and realizing, man, I no longer procrastinate. Yes, I may be distracted, miss some goals, and have to, recalibrate and get back to work. But it was such a beautiful metaphor to life, man, to realize that, man, in life, there'll be ups and downs, all you can control is that consistency, those things you do based on your values that give you life, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's acts of service, going to help, or exercise, working out, has become a spiritual practice for me, because there's the challenge of, man, I don't want to work out today. You make excuses then, but you have to still push through. But the endorphins you get, the levity you get, the ideas you get from the gym, you realize, man, it's not just a mental thing I'm doing. This is kind of like a spiritual experience I'm having working out. So it was honestly one of the most transformative experiences. And to your point too, like all these great teachers that have come along the way, they had to go in the desert, yes. And yes, everybody experiences suffering. We've all experienced traumas here and there. But when have you decided to choose your own suffering,
self-imposed,
and say, I'm gonna take myself in the desert. I'm gonna be isolated. Luckily, you're the only person that that also motivated me, because I'd wake up and see if you've posted. Like, okay, all right. I get courage, yeah, I don't know if I was looking to quit. I'm sure the old me was like, man, if you quit, I'll quit,
Me too.
And then when I saw you drinking,
you better close your rings.
Yeah. And then I remember I saw that one day that you fell off, which was maybe 2 days, because I think you fell off right when it's beginning.
Yeah.
I don't remember actually, but one of the days when you fell off, and I didn't want to fall off. I did not have an excuse. I was like, oh, okay, man, we're changing. And then you keep walking that path, and it's like, man, you start to see, like, I can't say that I physically saw my older self, but I felt my older self, like, right here. I felt it, and it's like you've stepped out and you're looking at him, and it's like, man, he's falling back. But realizing, yeah, you got to get back to work, no matter how good things may feel today, no matter how bad things may feel, as we all know, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
So man, it was really, really dope.
It was.
Yeah. So I've kind of going over continuing on the spiritual aspect. It doesn't have to be spiritual, but what are some books that really, really impacted you on this journey? What are some books that you feel that made a life-changing imprint on you?
So I read a few books. So Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, definitely a favorite. So I did Breathe as well. Breathe is by Dr. Something. A really great book. It really emphasizes on breathing through your nose and stuff like that. A really great book. Really, really great book. Highly recommend. And then I did also Charles Duhigg's it's not the power of habit, but uh, you know the Duhigg book, Charles Duhigg,
No, no, I don't think
The
I know.
Power of Habit. Not the power,
What's the name of the book? The 12 Habits?
not the Power of Habit. The other one. Yeah, it's escaping. And then the power, super communicators.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
super communicators. And then the 5 a.m. Club is also a good one. Oh,
Wow.
5 a.m. Club was a good one. I've yet to be a 5 a.m. Club member. That's definitely something I'm working on. Um,
Oh, it's tough.
Everywhere you go, there you are.
Mm.
Definitely a favorite as well. It's a meditate. It teaches you meditation,
Mm-hmm.
how to approach it, basically different practices. And then the Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. So I've given you 2 books by Michael Singer already. The Untethered Soul and then the Surrender Experience. I think that was actually a really great book. I don't know why it's not Times bestseller, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, those are the books I was reading. That most of them were, yeah. So
Wow.
I actually have them right here. Make sure. All right, I just found one of them, which is this one, the 5 a.m. Club by
Yeah. Wow.
Robin Sharma.
Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Robin Sharma?
Nah, man. So me, because you've been reading a lot. I usually can get everyone from you. The only person I think I may have, I mean, of course, we always exchange ideas, but Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, that one I don't remember how I found it actually. I don't remember how I found it, but it was, yeah, it's such a powerful and transformational book. I remember feeling and detaching. But with everything, man, you know, it's kind of like working out. You gotta practice. You gotta practice.
It is. And then the beautiful thing is that Michael Singer doesn't even approach most of his books to teach meditation. Even though he's a Zen master, I think his approach is mostly how to teach people how to live outside of meditation. Like, his teachings are mostly focused on the internal dialogue. Like, it's the confrontation of the ego that you have within that has all these childhood experiences, all these experiences that occurred in your life, and how to let it go. So that you can live your life, you know what I mean? So I like his outlook on things. It's pretty fascinating.
Wow. Oh, that is fascinating. So let me see about me books that it's interesting. Yeah, you bring the books that affected you. I was Googling my mind to see which books. The most transformative to me was Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits, I always was frustrated with, like, okay, make progress, then something happens, I forget it. You know, I completely lose it. I remember, like, back in the day, I bought a 17-inch MacBook Pro. Man, I had a desk. Oh, man, I'm going to do trading. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, you know. And you get those moments of motivation, you know. And of course, for my ego, I'm trying to show my brothers, I'm doing things, man, you know. Like, oh, Elvis, you're doing some things, you know. Of course, I get that tap on the back, you know. We forget about it. You know, I even forget about the laptop. I probably don't even know how many times I used it. I ended up giving it to my brother. But the beautiful thing about Atomic Habits is understanding that as human beings, we operate through habits. And you can calculate every single thing that one person will do throughout the day because we're naturally consistent. The time you wake up, how you brush, how you eat your breakfast, how you deal with certain problems, when time you go to work, what time you come from work, everything is all habits. And then I started to examine my habits. I started to examine myself. And after understanding that, I was like, all right, man, I'm going to just bring order into, let me just start with my bedroom, you know? And I know if I can get my bedroom tight, then everything is going to feel tight in my mind. It's going to be organized. And also understanding too, that the point of, when you organize, it's as though you're organizing your brain, and getting it. And so I made it a habit whereby my room, I always leave it impeccable, the best way I can. Every single little thing, the smallest of things, sometimes I exaggerate, but it really, really helped. And noticing work, okay, how can I improve on work? I start, then I fall. Then you realize it's the habits that you implement. You review, see how your habits are, rate them, and then start new habits and stick to them. You can constantly tune them and improve. But Atomic Habits to me has been the biggest transformation in my life, because it's clear it's not about motivation. Sometimes motivation kind of helps you here and there, but motivation is honestly useless. You get hyped up, you get a dopamine rush. Oh man, and then of course you'll crash at some point.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. And knowing, I remember he said this thing, let's say if you want to become a good meditator, if you miss one day, that's okay. But if you miss a second day, then your body resorts to the old habits naturally. And I started to see that. So even working out, if I've worked out consistently, and let's say I'm supposed to work out on Wednesday and that I don't, I'll do something. I'll either go for a walk, or I'll allow myself not to do that one day. It's fine, but make sure I pick it up the next day, so I don't go in a rut. And before you know it, it becomes automatic, and it's not something you even think about. Even my car, as soon as I hop in, it always says, go to the gym, and not that I planned, but it knows my routine, so you just stay consistent. The other book that I can remember, I read a lot of books, and man, I was stressed reading. I don't know why I was racing to read, and some of these books I'll go back to read them. Was the Game of Life. Game of Life. It was written by this woman, I think it was in the 30s, and she was talking about the power of what you say into the world, the power of what you create. Understanding that, for example, if you say, oh man, things are tough. I mean, I'm not going to get a job, man. Things are tough, but you can also say to yourself, all right, I don't have a job right now, but multiple jobs are coming to me, and I'm going to pick out the right job. It will show up, and it will be there for me. There's a job just specifically waiting for me, and man, it always works. Honestly, it always works. But of course, it requires you to be patient. You can't say, I'm going to say then today it happens, And I remember the other day too, and another experience I had this one time. My expenses are going up a little bit. I've got my house in Austin, and I think my tenants had moved out, and I was feeling a lack, over panicking for no reason. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to practice what I've learned in this book. I'm like, all right, money is coming to me. I am rich. I am wealthy. Money is the last thing I think about. Kid you not, I go open this pile of mail I've not opened in how many months? I find a good amount of money, that type of money whereby it's going to pay that mortgage for at least 2 months,
Wow.
Yeah. And I open, the state is like, oh, Elvis, we've been trying to send you this money, but for the past 2 years, I'm like, what? All right, give it to me. I find my mortgage company is like, oh, you overpaid on your insurance. Here's some more money. Then I don't know, man. Those just a bunch of checks.
That's amazing.
And then you sit down, you're like, yo, man, from this day forth, I am not going to worry about money at all. I do not care. So to the point whereby a tenant moves out, I know a new tenant is coming. I know. And I've left it to God. God knows the type of tenant I want. I'm inviting them into my home, and it's going to happen. So Game of Life was really transformational in terms of what you tell to yourself. And then the other one that was impactful, at least that I can remember, was the Eye of the Storm. And the Eye of the Storm is a book, at least from what I remember, that forces you, or gives, not forces, because I think that's rough, but gives you the opportunity to be introspective, not only internally, but also on a physical level. And the whole concept is the eye of the storm is the calmest part of the storm. the storm is moving consistently. But basically, do not allow yourself to be defined by the storm. You know, if you lose your job, do not say, "Oh my God, I'm unemployed. I'm poor. I'm this." No, this moment has happened, but I'm wealthy. Look, be grateful for everything that you have. If you get into whatever life situation, as opposed to defining yourself to those situations as bad as they are, remember just to be to be the eye of the storm. Be calm, be observant to that thing, but don't be defined by that thing. And it's fun. I remember back when I moved to the US, I was really I go through a depression because bills were mounting and things were crazy. And I remember telling myself, and I was just telling a realization to this class. I was like, I've just realized that I cannot be my problems. I am separate from my problems. But to me, it was just a thought. And everybody was like, "Whoa, that's it, Elvis, that's it." I'm like, "What is what?" Like, yeah, that's it. So I kind of recollect to that. But basically, it does not serve us to identify with our problems at all.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are some of the books that I read.
Nice.
Really transformation.
I definitely want to check that out. That sounds good.
Oh, Game of Life is
that
say what?
Sincero?
I'm gonna take a look. Because I've got him by my bedside. I'll take a picture and send it to you. But it's Game of Life. But it's written by a woman. Yes,
Florence. I just don't know. Florence.
Yes, I think Florence. That's her name. Yes. Yeah. It's a very simple book, small, but man, yeah, man. She helped so many people by just that belief, of, man, you have to be careful what you put into the universe, what comes out of your mouth, because we are co-creators. We're creating our reality.
Yeah.
So it was really, really transformational in multitude of examples. So it was
absolutely. I mean, it's the only way. I mean, once you learn that, you'll never you never turn back again. Because I mean, before you read that book, how did you think life unfolded?
Before I read that book, how did I think life unfolded? So one, I've always been naively optimistic to a fault, which sometimes doesn't help because you're looking for the optimism when, let's say, you need to take care, let's say, of your health, but you're like, no, I'm okay. But no, you're not okay, But how I thought life unfolded is, honestly, it's just, it's not even that I thought about it. I was just reactionary. I was just reacting. I was just reacting. Yes, I wasn't being intentional about planning my day, being intentional with my day, putting things that are like right now I have a routine where I start with what I'm grateful for, things I'm excited about, things I'm hoping to see, things I'm hoping to experience. So I love saying, little miracles and surprises that are going to come from you, God, and so it makes me then be expectatious of beautiful things that are going to happen, and it always happens because I always find something to celebrate. But yeah, honestly, I was just reacting, man. I was just reacting, and I never thought I had an effect to what was happening. I was always just reacting, and not knowing that, I am a powerful being. If God lives in me, then, I can co-create with him, and I'm at an effect to the story I tell, to the words I put out, and also the stuff you let in a sense. So, how about you? How what was your experience? How was your experience?
So at first I thought life happened to me. Until I realized it's always happening for me.
Oh, I love that.
So there's not a single moment in my life that I could take out. The good, the bad has all contributed to the person that I am right now and what I aspire to be. So because once you say that life is happening to you, it's more like a victim mentality.
Yeah.
You automatically become a victim. There is an entity outside of out there that is trying to stop you from achieving what you need to achieve.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you create haters and all kinds of people who are against all the contre success. So that was my outlook on things, where I felt like,
Yeah.
and then and there was always a need for you to find why things are not fair. This is not fair. Or why are we here? It's not fair. What is this situation happening? It's not fair. And really getting to a point where you start looking at things like, oh, wow, oh, great, another one. Let's see. Oh, another one. Okay, great. I was waiting for that. And someone, I feel like I really felt like I changed. Like the switch, how it happened was that I got my review, my performance review, which comes every other month, right?
Wow.
And it hit me that I didn't react to anything. So I gave myself like 30 days of no reaction.
Wow.
You're not going to get any reaction. This is what you think my performance is. Thank you. I move on. Thank you. I move on. So I just set it up there. But the intention was that I don't want to be pissed anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel terrible. So I was like, I'm not going to react to that. Which I was hoping that if I don't react, then it's gonna help me be able to communicate, do my job better.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is how me not reacting, how people would start to perceive me. It was completely unexpected.
How do they perceive you?
Like the top performer that I've always been.
Oh, wow.
So prior to me having to, because I was the type, if you send me my review and I see that something is not working out, I'm going to call you out on it.
Damn.
You didn't see these numbers right. If you look at this communication, I closed that client. Matter of fact, I closed them in 5 minutes. And I think you're not really giving me the credit. I was that kind of person. And I was right, right?
Yeah, of course. You're right and they're wrong.
Yes. And really, if you looked at it, I had the risk, right?
Yeah.
It's management.
Yeah.
There's a hierarchy. The management cannot take blame for even making a mistake, right?
Yeah.
So I made a decision I would not react anymore. I no longer want to deal with these people. I no longer want to.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I felt was that me dealing with them is taking my energy away from what I need to be doing to bring about value for the company, right? So once I shifted into I'm not going to react, I didn't know that these people that I actually, to some extent, I didn't like them, became my best friends, like became my closest folks.
Yeah.
I started now, once they started coming in with everything, oh, Ganza, you should have done this and this. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to make it happen. In a positive way, right? I wasn't doing it in a way, whatever. It was more like a response. I'm going to be positive about it. Whatever they tell me to address, I'm going to address it. Give them exactly what they need. With that, didn't react, didn't push back. To a point, they started reaching out to me like, Ganza, you okay? Like, we've been... These reviews, you're not telling us, what's going on? I'm like, oh, I think you guys do your job well. Prior to that, I didn't think that they do their jobs. As a matter of fact, I thought they'd all be fired. So, oh my God. But this time around, because I'm at the piece of the surrender experience, I'm experimenting this thing. For the next days, I'm just going to be a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
And in reference to this review that I get every other month. And all of a sudden I became the top performer in my department. My name is all over the place. They are saying my names in rooms that I'm not in. they're reaching out to me, trying to get advice on who I should advise, the next salesperson I need to put under my wing to train so that they can do their jobs right. All of a sudden, these things they seemed impossible before, these things will never happen because I had this internal thing inside me where I'm African, I'm an immigrant. I didn't pass my school well. I wasn't a very bright kid in school. I I had this list on why things were not working out for me. Plus, these people are haters. They hate on me. I'm the top performer. In actual sense, if you look at my work, I'm a top performer, but somehow I'm not getting the recognition. It's not.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I couldn't even wrap my head around the fact that I was blocking those blessings myself. Once I surrendered and I was no longer imprisoned by people's reactions and what they're attempting to pass along, and I'm willing to just let it come in, soak it,
Yeah.
release. All of a sudden, I opened up relationships with these folks, very personal relationships. And I'm being plugged in with the CEO of the company. All these things are happening that before were not possible, right? And it's happening in a span of just a month.
Wow.
You realize just
A month.
just a month, right?
Wow.
But of course, it's coming in the process of me also going into the 75. So mentally, I'm sharp. My work output is up there, right? Because the procrastination has been kicked out. And then once brought in the aspect of now self-acceptance, because you have to bring all this. So if you watch the movie The Last Airbender, you have all these elements, right? You have fire, you have the wind, and I believe water. Air. No, wind, air, airbender, wind, and then fire, water, something. So there's these elements that you have to be able to have. There is a physical element, there is a mental element, and there's a spiritual. So I had confronted the physical and the mental. So I'm physically resilient, mentally resilient, but the spiritual aspect was something I was playing around with. As a matter of fact, I thought the spiritual aspect is supposed to be in church only. I'm supposed to, it's the only place to get it. I didn't understand my interaction with life is a spiritual process.
Yeah.
How I talk to someone is a spiritual process because you interact with God. It's God. Everything's God.
Absolutely.
And once you understand that everything that surrounds you is God, then you have to treat it as such, whether it's the good or the bad. And once you're able to merge that, then life opens up doors.
Absolutely.
It didn't come in the form of a check. It came in the form of opportunities opening up. Me feeling seen, me seeing my children pass their classes, me seeing my relationship with my wife strengthening. It's those things that for me were a miracle. I mean,
wow.
Now, I'm now just at a place of continuously putting out gratitude because now it's coming at a speed where it can also easily tip off my ego, and I now get to a point where I feel like I'm the person controlling it all.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's to find a balance to not even be extremely excited for all these good things that are happening, appreciate them, but also stay right there in the middle, right there in the center of where you just appreciate the process of getting up. If the 75 hard challenge is the thing that you want to do, or any other challenge, get up, do it, pursue it, and then wake up tomorrow and keep doing it, and then start seeing opportunities open for you. But it's all about the showing up. It's the showing up.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest game. It's the biggest game to win. Once you show up, everything else goes from there.
Absolutely, man. Oh, that is so powerful, man. Wow. Man, oh, that is so powerful. I even forgot what the question was because I'm
What's the
like, what?
spiritual? Like, what was the spiritual transformations that I've went through? I mean,
Okay, got you. We did talk about the spiritual transformations. Yes, absolutely. No, that is, man. That is. I'm just in. Oh wow. There's such a man. There's such a power in being in awe, or just experiencing everyone as if it's for the first time and hear the stories uniquely.
mm,
And from what you just said, and just as you're talking, I'm thinking this happened over a course of a year,
mm,
but you say it was 1 month,
mm.
and just knowing that these transformations could happen, man. And me too. Around my review last year, at work, I was nervous how it was going to turn out. I stayed consistent. I did the best I could. And at the end of the year, I was like, man, actually, I did a good job. I'm thinking. And then when I talked to my boss, it's like, no, man, you did an excellent job. You did a great job. I'm like, what? Me? Oh, it's like, man, I was tripping and,
Wow.
stepping over myself. But man, yeah, no, it is definitely something, to be grateful to. So, we have this other question. I know we've been going for some time, but I know you're a busy man. You're a dad. Thank you for making time. Appreciate that. But what is advice that you can give to somebody who is? I know this conversation and the reason why we're both excited was it would allow us to share our experiences from this challenge. Not that the challenge is the solution, but what you get out of it and how you show up. But what would be the advice you can give to someone who's saying, man, I want to do that challenge, but I'll give you examples, and I'm not giving calling out anyone, but some examples I heard from some people. Man, I'm overweight, so I don't know if I should start, or it's too hard, or there's a lot of excuses that people can make. We all make excuses. But besides that, what is some advice you can give to someone who's trying to better themselves, maybe using this medium like 75?
All right. So the advice that I would offer, we come from a society that have long neglected individual soul, right? Uh, we have not prioritized systems that prioritize survival. We have prioritized systems that emphasize on survival over self-awareness. We have and basically as a result, many of us inherit ways of being that ignore our emotional wounds, downplay our physical health, and silence our inner voice. And we have a shared history, a shared history that to some extent we're still trying to come to terms with. And in most reasons as to why I got into the personal development space was to be able to advise on ways that we could overcome limitations that have been caused with that with the unfortunate history that we all share. Most of the walls that I built in my life personally were on the basis of things that I learned growing up or things that I've seen, and things that were, to some extent, things that at a young age I had no business being exposed to. But as life unfolds, really we're forced to confront the things that are now getting in the way of us being able to secure a better future. And I feel like once we attend to our health, we're able to overcome psychological, physical, and other issues that hinder our progress. And stop us from being able to take the steps in life. So the priority of self-care, putting time into yourself, is the advice that I would ask people to get in, to start really considering as something that has to be the foundation of anything else that you want to build in life. So you probably want a great career, you want a great family, you want a great life in general. And most of us don't want to get into the conversation on what it requires to be able to achieve that, even though most of the masters that we follow, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Buddha, depending on what doctrine you choose, there is a consistent example on having to attend to yourself, having to spend time with yourself, doing things that are uncomfortable. There is an emphasis on that. And for me, the role that I've played, whether me being a dancer, was to help kids be able to find activities that they could do outside of things that were distracting us. Because if you do remember us growing up in Rwanda, there wasn't much activities other than basketball, probably going somewhere to play ball or playing soccer with your neighbors. You had all these things happening, but then of course you also influenced to go out, drink, and stuff like that. So that was mostly the influence that came from the societies that we grew up in. And that the habits that we took from that are not allowing us to be able to go to the next level. What got you here will not get you to the next place. If the next place is clarity, it's vitality, it's all these things that describe a great life, it's going to require you to do the things that suck. 75 Hard Challenge is that thing that sucks. It has the systems, everything that have been put in place to enable you to start confronting the limitations that are there in your life, procrastinations, lack of clarity. The 75 has the tools to be able to help you do that. Now, if you haven't attended to your health in a long time, and you haven't worked out in a long time for whatever reasons, there are many reasons, health, many reasons. 75 Hard Challenge could be a huge step. To a point, you might get to a point where discipline starts becoming something you hate rather than something that you need to welcome in your life.
Mm.
Someone who's just getting started, would I advise them to get into the 75? It's probably not the thing to advise you to do, because that could put too much pressure on your nervous system, and it could end up being not the best thing to do for certain individuals.
Yeah, you're right.
So in that place, what can you do? The next thing that you could probably do is do your best, right? Maybe it's that 1 minute it's that 5 minutes that you have before you go to work. Maybe it's that lunch where you have about an hour for lunch, and maybe you can squeeze in a 10-minute walk outside in the sun to just soak in those rays and be able to feel better at the end of the day. Make the goal so small that you cannot fail.
Wow.
And create your own challenge based on what you're able to do. But then it presents a challenge in itself. I could tell someone, okay, you don't have 30 minutes to work out. You don't have an hour. Okay, great. Can we be consistent with working out for 5 minutes every day? If we can put in that and then measure it in the next year, you will have had lots of time of training, and you're definitely going to feel the effects of it. So my advice, if you really want to hit a huge reset to your life, get into the 75. It's definitely the place to go. I've tried it. I'm doing it right now as we speak. I'm into it 35 days in, 34, 34. And the reason I do it is outside of my weight. It's outside of wanting to gain the muscle. It's outside of anything else that would satisfy someone's eyes. Okay, yeah, he's doing the 75. I can see it. Then no, that if you go in with that intention, what we see with our eyes, there's a great delay. But to how you feel, it's almost immediately. It's almost immediately. As soon as you go outside for a 10-minute walk, you won't need to wait 30 days in order for you to see the results of that. You're going to feel it in the next 10 minutes after you sit down. You're going to feel it. So self-improvement, discipline is all about awareness. We are attempting to create awareness. When you go to do something that is physically exhausting, or you're going out in the sun to walk, these things that pose discomfort raise your awareness. Your awareness is raised. You're able to see things better due to the once you feel that awareness, you now start to confront all the barricades that you have placed there through your experiences, through your historical facts, through your traditions, all these blockages that you have in your life that stop you from enjoying it to the fullest can fall off due to awareness. When people go to run, when people go to the gym, they're not going there for muscles. Ultimately, probably if you talk to them, they might tell you, yes, I'm going there to train my muscles to, and there are people who are competing and that's their ultimate goal. But then for the regular human being out there who's just has a job, they're not trying to compete in no athletic competitions, they're not trying to run a marathon. You attending to yourself, going to the gym, going outside to walk, working out at home, putting on a YouTube TV and following along that video and working out. All those things are creating an awareness in your body, which is ultimately going to give you an insight on your internal dialogue, which has probably been there ever since you're a baby. That internal dialogue was it was innocent at a very young age. It's that internal dialogue that took you to go play with the dirt on the side. You're creating these characters with little, if you remember as a child, it was easy for you to engage with that internal dialogue.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Create these humans outside of you, these, how do you call them again? These friends. They're not there. Your mind has these ways of creating things. But then you grew up. You became a teenager. But then the experiences that came with that life presented to you limitations that you probably have. Or you saw limitations that others had, and you automatically thought that you probably carry similar limitations. And all these things that you have accumulated have now created the very character that you see in the mirror when you stand in the morning looking at yourself. How do you now overcome all these things that you have built? It's through rigorous, consistent, self-imposed struggle. Now, we can take even a step further, and we can also confront, okay, maybe you're unable to move for some reason. There is a condition you probably have, you're unable to move. Something is broken. at the end of the day, what the 75 is attempting to pass along can also be done without you having to move a finger. One would ask how. If in those 75 hard, you can practice gratitude, you can practice understanding that the world or life is not working against you, it's working for you. And you practice that mental state on a daily basis, you're still able to actually create immense change in yourself and immense change around you. If you just understand that it's all about understanding that this life is working to benefit you. Every situation that unfolded, whether it was a negative one, whether it was a positive one, it's all contributing to this future you're attempting to achieve. Now, it doesn't look like what you planned. You want to achieve a certain goal. Once you put it out in the universe's job is to create obstacles to prove to yourself that you want it as much as you say that you do. If you want a healthy family, if you want a career that's where you're continuously striving, if you want a life that is sweet, it's gonna require you to do the work. We can attempt to skip all that part, but the work is all mental. It starts mental. It starts mentally. If I had to take it back to see where most of my personal change started, my personal change started when I sat in silence. As a matter of fact, I was showing my wife this. I made a video meditating in 2017. I don't know, 2016, 15. That was my first meditation. I put a phone on the side and I recorded a time lapse just to see how I look meditating, because I was curious on how crazy. I went outside in the woods. It was in the back of the house. And that moment is what changed everything in my life.
Wow.
That very moment is when I saw it all. Of course, at that time, I probably didn't even see anything. As far as I was concerned at that time, my eyes was closed and I was attempting to meditate. But if I look closely at what transpired from that moment on, I started to prioritize myself. I started to prioritize the workouts. I started prioritizing being outside more often. But it all started with awareness. It all started with sitting down and meditating for the first time.
Mm.
And now you understand that meditation is probably harder than me having to tell you to do the 75. The meditation is harder.
Oh, it's
People want to sit with their thoughts. Their thoughts are the most difficult thing for them to confront, because these thoughts don't only carry the life that they're dealing with right now, but it's also carrying a past life. It's a DNA, it's a transgenerational trauma, something that is completely affecting you and you don't know where it even comes from. And as an adult, we feel it the most, because now life is demanding us to be the best, to secure the job, have the family that is all healthy, the pressures of society, all coming knocking at the door at the same time, and you're trying to make it out. Usually, most people who are not aware at that level of their life, at that stage of their life, usually go to look for things to distract them. Some of us go into, we get into sex, others get into alcohol, Others, it's hard drugs. And eventually, the dark cloud that hangs on top of you for ever since you were a teenager, unaddressed issues now become even much bigger with the addition of substances, with the addition of the substances that are now coming on top of these unresolved issues. So that's awareness. Awareness is understanding the dialogue that's happening in your mind, because we're constantly distracted. We're constantly, and in this world, we are dealing, our parents dealt with a world that was extremely difficult. There was a lot of them to confront. But the amount of distraction that we're dealing with as their children is something that they never experienced. This is a whole other different world where your only superpower is your awareness. That's the only thing that you can offer the world. And there's no way to get to awareness there's definitely a way to get to awareness if you ignore your body. You could really get there, but it requires heroic acts. It requires you sitting like the Buddha under a tree for a certain amount of time and really making peace with your mind. 99.9% of people don't want to do that. So the alternate goal is to start feeling your body. How do you feel your body? You move it. And once you move your body, once you change your physiology, you can easily access your mind. And once you access your mind, now you understand the internal dialogue that's going on. And once you understand that and you continuously up the amount of challenge that you bring to your body, you can now address those thoughts, those self-limiting beliefs on what is possible and not what's not possible. And once you get there, it's going to feed everything else in your life. Your life is going to work out based on the foundation. But everybody wants to skip the foundation and get to the success and get to the cars and get to the house, get to the everything working out. And most of the times, it never works. It never works. You could achieve the world. You could achieve the world. But once you get out there, if the top is lonely, right? If the top is lonely and you're up there and in your mind as well, you feel like you're lonely, all that wealth that you have accumulated, you will have to spend it just to keep yourself above ground. We've seen generations come and go, wealthy individuals who had the money and lacked the vitality. And you could see them popping pills right there just to be able to sleep. And they could have given up everything just to have a heart that pumps without needing pills or a pacemaker that is attached to your chest. They could give everything. But in this world that prioritizes productivity, input, output, we can easily forget that the true joy of life is being able to look at your current circumstances right there where you are and be satisfied with where it is. Have aspirations, have desires of things that you want to achieve, but take care of the basics, because the dream, the good things that you want to achieve, the life that you want to achieve, you cannot build it on a foundation of sand, right? If we're going to be biblical, if we're going to go biblical on things, you cannot construct anything on a foundation of sand, leave alone a house. Most of us, we build our careers, our wealth, our lives on the basis of things that we have accumulated. But The only accumulation that you want to actually have as a human being is really being in tune with yourself. That's the only one that you need. Actually, I don't think it's an accumulation. It's more of like a release. Let go. And then once you get there, I think life becomes sweet regardless of your financial circumstances, regardless of the situation that you're going through. Anything will be resolved by the fact that you have become more aware. You're aware of your thoughts. You know what thoughts to discard. You know what thoughts to tolerate. But in this world, most people are not aware that they even have a voice. As a matter of fact, if you tell them about a voice, you're bringing about demonic conversations. Those are conversations that they don't understand. But even science backs up the fact that we have a voice. Like it's no longer a woo-woo science. It's psychologically it's there. And the inner voice has more influence on your subconscious. So if the inner voice tells you it hates that person, you're gonna do actions and you're gonna make decisions based on what that inner voice is convincing you to do. And once you learn that that inner voice has been your making, that inner voice did not just fall into you. You made it. You created that dialogue. You created these narratives on what is acceptable for you and what is not. And once you get to a place of no preferences, I don't have any preferences. Life is just unfolding, and I'm here to just ride this wave as far as it can go. And my advice is that raise your awareness. If you can sit down for meditation, if maybe working out, doing a 75, it's probably a hard thing. I could advise to start practicing to sit down for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for optimal, with your own thoughts, and then see what that transpires in the next 30 days. If you're consistent, the goal here is consistency. Create the environment, just like the atomic bomb advises us to do. Create the environment that allows those habits to be able to stick. Show up every day, and then eventually that habit is going to build. You're going to start seeing those thoughts that get in the way of you having to show up for yourself, wanting to improve, because that's what the thoughts do. They tell you you're not unworthy. They tell you you're an African. You come from a place where there's nothing. So who do you think you are? That's what the thought says, because that's all we've been told ever since we're kids. Maybe if we were born in Texas, maybe we would be hearing something different. And I think it also played a role in bringing us right here, right now, sitting on this podcast, talking. It's all a result of having gone through that past life and eventually learning that there's a better way of living. And now we are focused on wanting to spread this message to the rest of the world, right? Especially our people, right? Because it's not a lot of people creating this space, right? It's not a lot of people into the self-improvement space. It's a very difficult thing for people to start even entertaining, especially in our community, right? Our community prioritizes making money over anything else. If you're making money, you've become successful. No, if you're able to have a great relationship with your significant other, if you're able to have a great relationship with your colleagues, you have good friends around you, that is wealth. That is wealth. And wealth is a state of feeling. It's not what you've accumulated in your bank account. It's how you feel. And once you get to a point where you no longer want to be like anybody, I can't look at Bill Gates. I can't look at Elon Musk. And there used to be a time I looked at them, I wish I could be you. There was a time I would look at all these huge people, bigger than life. I want to accumulate as much money as you have, but I'm at a place where I'm comfortable. I wouldn't trade anything for this vessel that has been given to me for a very limited time, right? Very limited, very limited. And this limitation forces me to create urgency within my community to understand that self-improvement is the thing that's going to take us on the next level. What got us here is not what's going to be required to get us on the next level. We got here with pain, with survival, with historical facts that were extremely difficult. And then the next level of us having to build, create societies and communities that are strong, that support each other, will require a different type of people, a different type of community. And that simply requires awareness. That would be my advice.
Wow. Okay. That's huh?
Well, it's a long advice.
No, you covered every point. I think you covered definitely. Oh my God. Yeah. Whoever picks it up. Yeah, it's life changing. No, I appreciate it, man. And at the end of the day, you speak from the heart. At the end of the day, I doubt you thought you'd be pouring out yourself like that, but I know it's coming from a genuine place. I know you. I've talked to you, so no, I truly appreciate it, man. For me, I think my advice is just simple, man. It's unless your doctor says you don't do it and you can't not be able to do it, but I think, not I think, I know doing the 75 and being consistent and challenging yourself to do something you've never done before. And it could simply be walking. You could do 2 walks. You could do a walk indoor and a walk outdoor. You could walk around your house for 45 minutes. That's a workout. Then you can walk outside for 45 minutes and then read a book. 10 pages? 10 pages is not much, and yeah, and have fun with it. And don't do it chasing the feeling or expectation for the reward to happen now. Just let it play out and let the 75 days end and then reflect, or you can reflect weekly, but it's not as hard as I thought it was because I made it hard on myself. But whatever, if you feel stuck, if you feel confused, if you feel you don't know where to start, just do it. Just do it. And yeah, I think it's a calling to each one of us. What is that thing I can do to get myself out of this discomfort, to better myself, and to do something completely out of me and that I'm considering challenging, and having the faith that something new is going to come out of this. So, but I'm with you, man. Thank you for getting me on this. It's wild because you're one of the first people I was thinking of doing a podcast with. I had no idea you're doing a 75 right now.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's about 35 days. Yeah,
Jesus. Man, I'll leave it up to you. I think I got all the lessons I needed.
Surprisingly, I'm enjoying it better than I enjoyed it the first time.
I can imagine, because you're probably calmer. You're not overstressing yourself.
Yeah.
But
with my wife, so it's also helping.
Yeah. Oh, that is beautiful, man. That is beautiful. Yeah. So I appreciate you making time to be with us here, Ganza, man. It's I know you have, your wife, you have kids. I love your kids. Just, I'm always wowed by Michaela's post. I'm like, that's why I'd be checking. Yo, did you write this? No, we were shocked. I'm like, what? So it's amazing, man. It's amazing. I'm truly inspired and thankful for the work you do, because at the end of the day, when you work on yourself, you are helping other people, and it all starts with you, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Any last words or anything else, man?
Absolutely. Elvis, first, congratulations on launching this. It's I'm keeping in touch with everything that you've put out so far. There's really great value that you're offering to the world, and I think it's gonna come back to you tenfold. Really, I cherish our relationship. Our family are close knit. And it has always been a pleasure having you on my corner and supporting me in any way, shape, or form. I think it's the same thing on me. Like anything that I have to support you, I'm gonna be there. And yes, I'm really excited to see what your podcast is gonna do. How it's gonna change people. I've seen already a lot of people have reached out to me to tell me how much it's impacted them. Folks I've shared it with, I have lots of friends in Rwanda dealing with substance abuse at a very deep level. and I'm sharing your episodes with them. And they're coming back to me, really just taking into value and understanding ways to address whatever they're dealing with. So yeah, man, thank you for bringing me here. I think this conversation was deep. It was, you know, it's definitely gonna move the needle in terms of getting people to get up and understand that prioritizing ourselves and prioritizing our health, mental health, is definitely the way forward. That is the rise of Africa, is us starting to confront these limitations that have been imposed on us by many people for many years. And having these platforms, seeing Africans talking, is quite refreshing.
Oh, awesome, man. Appreciate it, Ganza, man. Thank you once again. Thank you for making time. We had no idea. I thought this would go for an hour, but I love it. Yeah, it's 3. So, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here during the 75 challenge.
Yes.
So yeah, appreciate it, man. Until next time, and yeah, I'm hoping we'll have definitely more dialogues and different topics we can carve out, and just share, be vulnerable, man, because you know, everyone goes through life. We all go through life, and we're not better than anyone. We're just trying to be better. So hopefully we can be better than we were yesterday. And it takes accountability on each of us. So thank you for being a good example. And always when I check in, it always manifests, and it comes true. And that's why, honestly, it's such a pleasure for me to have you as my first guest. So thank you, my brother.
Pleasure was all mine. I'm honored.
Awesome, brother, man. Until next time, appreciate you, man.
Have a good one.
All right, take care, man. Peace.